And if these fuel tanks, and I'm looking at the script right here, what about the fact if this Las Vegas Journal report is true?
Now, it comes as a report came out about the tanks. There's some gas tanks, jet fuel tanks, about 1,100 feet away from the room, actually almost adjacent to where we're standing right now. And those, we saw those inspected early Monday morning here. There were bullet holes, we're told, found in those tanks. Now, the report came out from the Las Vegas Review-Journal saying that he targeted those tanks. Every single person we've spoken to that's associated with this case says that is that's actually not likely, because he was doing what's called spraying. He was basically spraying everywhere in about 180 degrees, and the idea for him was to mow people down. That's not targeting, which would be going after those tanks. Meantime, as that report comes through, we're also hearing more about the men and women who responded. Those cameras they were wearing on their bodies show flashes coming off different parts of the building, which would help explain. There's been some conspiracy theories out there.
Aaron Cohen, counterterror expert, former Israeli Special Forces guy and author of Brotherhood of Warriors, and Jim Hansen, president of Security Studies Group, former Army Special Forces. Guys, first off, what about the fact if this Las Vegas Journal report is true, that he was shooting at these tanks on the side and they did not penetrate far enough to explode them? Can you imagine if they did, Aaron?
Yeah, it would have been absolutely devastating. You know what? Brian, this has the entire mosaic of this attack, the amount of planning that was involved. If those bullets were found inside of those, I believe they're jet fuel tanks, if my sources are correct, that means that the amount of sheer blastery, or the size of that blast, had those actually gone off from the actual hits of those rounds. And again, those 223 or 5.56 rounds, 7.62 by 39 rounds. If there was an AK up there, I wouldn't be surprised if there was, or anything heavier. Had that tank have gone, this is Al Qaeda level destruction. I'm sure Jim will agree with me. The amount of planning here is what's absolutely baffling me. And when you guys were talking about the chief at Las Vegas Metro believing that there was someone else involved, I have to believe that there's got to be someone else involved due to just the basic profile of the lunacy of this thing. I've got to believe there's something more.
And what Aaron's saying, Jim, that's what the sheriff said. I don't have the proof. I don't have the guy. Well, I don't have the woman. But I know he had help. Do you agree?
That this is a very deeply planned and well-orchestrated killing spree.
It was just over an hour ago when the sheriff said this about the possibility of him having help.
When you look at the weapon obtaining, the different amounts of tannerite available, do you think this was all accomplished on his own? Self-value, face value, you got to make the assumption he had to have some help at some point, and we want to ensure that that's the answer.
He's actually thinking out loud with us, which is so rare during a press conference. They're usually so buttoned up, you have to read between the lines, and then you have conjecture. He's actually speaking, maybe because he's also been fantastic with us, with Sheriff Lombardo, speaking from the gut in front of us as if he's running through all the possibilities. And if these fuel tanks, and I'm looking at the script right here, looking at the layout.
let me go back to that little piece you were talking about with Sheriff Lombardo. You know, and I certainly don't mean to put on my, you know, my Israeli spy glasses here, but, you know, I'm looking very closely at the sheriff while he's speaking, doing what I can to try and glean from his behavior what is conjecture, what's speculation, and what's truly coming from the heart. And I deeply believe that the sheriff believes, and again, I agree with Jim 100%, that he doesn't have that specific information from the federal investigators who are doing their part, but I believe in his gut that he understands the complexity of this type of attack and the amount of planning. And now that we're adding jet fuel tanks, and McCarran is not that far away, if those tanks had gone off, the amount of destruction that would have been caused would not only have made it that much harder for this guy to have been pinned down by that security guard on the 32nd floor, but, you know, potentially everybody in that crowd or a major chunk or a larger chunk of that crowd could have been killed. So again, I'm hanging on here by a thread. But I agree with Jim. We don't want to put the cart before the horse. But
he had 1,600 rounds total. He sprayed 200 rounds in the hallway, and this brave security guard had to be yelled at to clear the hall and go back and get treated. And this is probably somebody who's paid less than most law enforcement officials and all the apparatus and all the hierarchy there. So what a salute to Jesus Campos, who's still in the hospital at this hour. Guys, Amen. As this story moves, we got to have you back throughout the next 2 weeks. Thanks so much.